Welcome to my site that I've named Tomb of Illumination, because a lot of my information was all about the spiritual enlightenment, man's illumination, which is connected to the flat earth realm. You have to understand the flat earth realm to understand creation, spiritual enlightenment, and all of religions. Once you get an understanding of the whole system, you get to understand all the mythological stories, cultural legends, and all religions. And this is what I try to put out, to get people to understand that you've been lied to all your lives. You do not live on a spinning ball, because the ball has nothing to do with anything I talk about, anything in regards to the meaning of your life, the meaning of existence, the meaning of creation, spiritual rebirth, your purpose in life, where you've come from, where you're going to, where you're going back to, or trying to get back to. None of that works with the spinning ball. It's all a total lie. The latest proof of that is the fact that we have two sun enlightenments, one in the northern hemisphere, one in the southern hemisphere. Okay? Both opposing each other. There's the southern hemisphere, there's the northern hemisphere. That's the centre Arctic there actually, and this is at the other end of the meridian. South. South. Your sun comes around like this. Southeast. Like this. But during the day you'll see it come spiral around like this, over your horizon, back around like that. Southwest. It's the southern hemisphere. Northern hemisphere, it comes out of the north, comes around east, swings around west, goes like that. You are always opposite this point here. So you as man standing here at all times have this rotation around the earth. And it's all seen from your arc of horizon. You're standing there. Your whole realm is viewed within this arc of horizon. If you look in that way, that means that loop is formed on this side of the world to you. Basically on the meridian, north to south. Okay? This is 100% proof that you do not live on a globe, because how can their tilting ball theory work if you've got two sun enlightenments and they're opposing each other? Which way is the ball tilting? This way? Was it tilting this way? How can it be both? There you have it, guys. That's all I need to say to prove that the earth is not a ball. But we'll move on from there. Well, I'll leave that there because you need to understand the sun's analemma. Give you another depiction. Let's go this way. Let's just concentrate on the one sun analemma, because there is one entire earthly system, but we see one in each hemisphere. So on the whole entire flat earth system, that's the centre Arctic. That is a meridian on the south end of it, because there's always one coming off. South. Another one coming around here. North, south. It's a reflection out all the time. Everybody's on a meridian from north to south. So you get your perspective. This is your perspective. You look dead south, that's your perspective. That's your meridian. Everybody's on a meridian. Meridian line. Okay? Now, on my Patreon page, I'll be getting into more of this divine information. You will understand. I will explain the entire religious story and what the Ark of the Covenant is. So, for all you subscribers out there, it's only $3.50 per month in American dollars. or $5 Kiwi per month. So if you want to help support me or get all this extra divine information, that's where you need to go, because I'm not giving it to the public for free, okay? I need to make a living. I'm sorry to say. I've done a lot of work over the last 4 years and never earned a cent from it. So I'm just letting you know, if you really want to know the whole flat earth system and all its associations, that's where you need to go, to my Patreon page. I'm just giving you a taste today of what's to come on my page. Now, why did I just rub that out? I just put it on the, put it back up again. There is the sun's enlightenment. Now this point here, the most divine place in all of creation. And this is to do with the Osiris story, all the mythological stories in Egypt, the mummification. It's at that period, that time of the year, that part of the season, where the underworld and the mummification takes place, where you're taken into the underworld, where you're weighed and prepared. They prepare your body as their newborn son, S-U-N or S-O-N, but it's the enlightenment of man, it's S-U-N, because we have the enlightenment of earth, which is this sun up here in the centre. You have the enlightenment of man, to do with his son. You're given all the essential items. Notice how the Egyptians put all the items in their sarcophagus or their tombs, basically for their journey. It's just describing their journey, meaning they have prepared the way for you, and rising again the next morning is your new life. But during your spiritual enlightenment, you're going through this mummification period, where you're sent off down the Nile. We'll get into that on my Patreon page. So then you stop and think, well, how does all this happen in a short moment in time? Because it does happen in a short moment in time. This is more proof of the simulation. Things can reboot at any time. So this is one thing you have to get in your heads, is we are a simulation. We come from nothing and we can be created like that. The right resonant frequency. If the resonant frequency changes, the earthly system changes, we will disappear and some other form or system can reappear in a different tune, you could say. Play the certain note. Because everything in our existence is based on sound, resonant frequencies. So this divine moment is like a man's reboot. His program's been rebooted. He stepped up into another realm, and this is what it says in scripture, that you should not turn back, because that's your past. Don't go back to your old way. If you want to go ahead, you're going into the start of your new life, that new simulation. But if you look back, you're bringing that back with you. You're bringing the baggage back into your new way of life. So you've been given this choice. You don't want to think of what's in the past. You've been enlightened now. So I get into more of that in my Patreon page later on, when I get a certain amount of people involved. And now we move on a little bit and get to this particular spot here. If you've been following me, you'll understand I've been talking about the 2 to 3 ratio a lot. It's a magnetic cycle, is a 2 to 3 ratio. It mightn't look like that from our perspective, but there is a 2 to 3 ratio there. And the messages are hidden right through the Bible. I've just found a couple, and I thought I'd mention them. Matthew 18:20, where 2 or 3 have gathered together in my name, I am there in the midst. He's in the midst as your 2 and your 3 have gathered, okay? I'm not making all this crap up, okay? Sorry, it's not crap. I'm not making all this up. People just think I'm here giving you my interpretation or my version, some common person's imagination. So I've still got people ignoring what I'm saying, assuming that I'm just guessing something and they've got another version, or they know someone else with a better version. Well, I'm telling you, you go off and listen to that garbage, or you come here and listen to the truth and take it in and accept it as the truth, because I'm telling you the truth. No one else will tell you. Seriously. Okay? Another one, Revelation 16:16. And he gathered them together into a place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon. We've all heard of that, haven't we? Armageddon. Oh, something terrible is going to happen. This is how the common man has portrayed the Bible. All this terrible acts going on in there. Even the Jesus story. Absolute bollocks. There's no vicious slaughter of a human being. It's all a divine story. You don't take it literally. Armageddon. What's the saying? We say, oh, I'm getting tired of hearing that Jesus is going to turn up. Well, it's to do with that, because it's that divine event. It's your Christ event. Armageddon. So you could connect that armor. We know there's a lot of armor involved in the Iliad, the shields. And the shield comes into it about reflecting off the arrows. Or get a dead shot, dead center. You'll find out what that means in my Patreon page. Then we have 16:17 is when the moon's alignment, or I'm just describing it here, when the moon's alignment has added her 1/7 to the sun. So then you go to Enoch and find in his luminaries that states, when the moon's light is even, she gives her 7th part. This is an alignment. When the moon is in line, when she's evenly in line, she gives her 7th part to the 7. You need 7 parts to ascend in your divine spiritual enlightenment, for you to open your 3rd eye. A lot more of that in my Patreon, trust me. John 19:27. Then he said to the disciples, behold, your mother. From that hour, the disciple takes into his own household. And what have I said about your hour? Man's hour. It happens in man's hour. Only 1 hour. Happens within an hour, but from what I gather only lasts half an hour. 33 minutes. Or 30 minutes. 30 minutes. From 3:03 in the morning to 3:33. From that hour the disciples take her into his own household. So the mother's represented in the moon. The moon's the mother, she's the divine mother of creation, and the sun is basically the father, because he's on the black hole, which is the father. The sun represents the sun in some stories, but the sun is the illuminated one on the horizon of the father. And the illuminated sun is represented the illuminated man on earth, where he becomes the son, isn't he? The son of God, the son of man. You know what I mean? Excuse me. Joshua told the sun to stand still. There's another topic now. Moving along. Joshua told the sun to stand still, not the earth. He didn't say for the earth to stand still. He said for the sun to stand still. The only time the sun stands still is at this point here. Now, people have been saying it could represent the solstice here and down here. Okay? We have the crab here, or the scarab beetle. Now if you go right back to ancient Egyptian, the scarabs don't walk sideways. So they brought this in later, the Christians, the crab crawling sideways around here. But a scarab beetle is rolling the dung, rolling the ball over the hill maybe. Down here, Capricorn, I haven't got that on top of my mind at the moment, but essentially it's up here. That's when the sun stands still. You've got good camera gear and you want to take photos of the sun, like at the same time of the day for at least a week or so, around about before and after the 6th of September, you'll know what I mean. Sanskrit, the Vedic view of immortality. Samsara, obviously on another topic now, means swimming through matter over many lifetimes in a realm where nothing can die. Nothing dies. Understand the word die. You're DI. DI meaning you're coming out of darkness, opening your eye, opening your third eye. The serpent story, okay? Nobody ever dies. We're in a recycling system. Expansion and contraction, as well as recycling. Energy cannot be destroyed or created. It recycles. And then you look at death. What is death? You're de-earthing. You're de-earthed. You leave the earthly realm, the perceived physical realm. Your body has died, rotted. And birth, be earthed. Being earthed again, coming back into earth. We are all here together on a journey of learning experience, but the ignorant only won't open one door and spend their entire life in that room. That is no better than Plato's cave analogy. You will not find the light stuck in the cave. You need to come out of the cave. Don't stick to that church and the people that surround that church or belong to the church, and stick with that community and only believe that one belief. That's only a small puzzle in the whole realm of our existence. Remember, God said, they are like gods. They've become like gods like us. Let's go down and separate the languages. Well, they've separated everything. It's like a puzzle, a jigsaw puzzle. There's pieces all over the place. You have to seek and you shall find. If you're an ignorant person to stay in that one cave, you're not going to experience all those other caves. Or the light at least. Come out. Get out of that church. Nothing's in the church that's for you. For you is within you. It's not in that church. Get out of that cave. Find yourself. Find all the pieces out there to make yourself whole. I'll put up a link where this information is coming from. Gentleman who knows a lot about Sanskrit literature. Very clever man. He called Brahman. Is the now, living in the now, this existence. And moksha is going back to the light. This is what we have to do. This is finding a third eye. Going back to where we came from. You become the enlightened one. That's what we aim for. That's the end of the cycle. You've stepped out of your recycling system. You no longer have to be like the common man, just over and over and over till he wakes up. We are light beings from the light. Light being everything. Born into this earth, perceived physical realm, into darkness. We here are born into the spiritual and conscious darkness. To die is to die, D-I, like I just mentioned here. Come into the light. To D-I is circumcision. This is the blood a male will shed, just like a female virgin does on her first time. It is a one-off event, isn't it? The blood that is shed from his de-eyeing is released and mixed with the brain oil, most likely from the pituitary gland, but it's up in the brain region somewhere. Probably, most likely from the pineal gland, if there's such a fluid that can come from that pineal gland region. And it flushes through your whole system. And this is why man in his hour, at this moment, if he's called, it's this anointing, you could say, can stand up and walk. He must stand up to have this fluid flush through his system. And in the Bible it mentions not eating or drinking, because that will dilute this elixir, ambrosia. It is an adrenaline rush type scenario that flows through your body, which encourages you to stand up. If you are not a reasonably fit or healthy person, you will not receive this adrenaline rush of energy. Probably more on the scale of a heart attack, if you did get it. You have to be a healthy person. This is why God says, bring me a male, an unblemished male. Okay? The release of this blood or oil or both flows to the 4 ventricles of the human brain. This is your flood story flowing through the 4 rivers. This release of fluid is a one-off release that no doubt changes your DNA. This is the awakening and the rising of your soul. This will now release you from the bindings of earth and its continuous recycling process called reincarnation. This is the true meaning to life. Finding your way back home to the light. Coming into the light. 2 video links I will give you. Might have put this up before, I'm not sure. Jane Roberts, look her up. Jane Roberts, the medium, speaking from Seth. And I vouch for what he's saying there, because of everything I've read and studied, I know. She's revealing the truth. What have we got here? Revelations 14:11 and 14:12. Deadly wound associated with the split rock. The split between the 2 hemispheres of the brain, where your Jerusalem is hidden, is healed. They both meet at the heel or feet. And that's connected to this system here, you see, because there's the heel of the system. There's the head, neck, body, and the feet down below here, right? The feet. We go on, move along a bit here. We've got, I've just checked my video, okay? Camera time. We have 7 minutes. So we're going to the Aquarius myth. When Zeus, in a rare moment of self-reflection, everything's a reflection, a mirror image, your meridian, it's mirrored, north is mirrored to the south. Gives the boy Ganymede, I don't know how to say that word, immortality as the constellation Aquarius. This is about the divine awakening story, because the divine person becomes immortal. So you just need to understand these mythological stories. I can guide you through them. Aquarius gives them immortality as the constellation Aquarius. Aquarius represents the son of man, the enlightened one, while Virgo is the woman of is the feminine. Okay, so Aquarius represents the male, Virgo represents the female in the zodiac sign, and Aquarius represents baptism, because it's associated with because that's next to Pisces, isn't it? And it's to do with the whole divine story of the fishes, Pisces, the Jesus story. Aquarius representing the water, because it's all about water, the flowing of water through the Nile or whatever. Rebirth, birth is all about water, isn't it? Zeus swoops down from the Mount Olympus to Mount Ida as a giant eagle. Why an eagle? Because the hidden place is what we can call the eagle's lair. I get into this in my Patreon page more. Okay? It's the secrets, all the secrets. Divine secrets of this realm. Ganymede becomes Zeus's personal cupbearer. Talk more about the cup later, along with a few other things apparently, being Greek and all. Wink wink, nudge nudge. But one day Ganymede has had enough and pours out all the wine, ambrosia and water of the gods. This lucky person here, that's what he's getting. Refusing to stay Zeus's cupbearer any longer. In other words, he's been waiting so long for the special time for this one person to come along. The right man, the unplenished man, to finally turn up in the whole system and releases everything onto him. It's basically what they're saying in that myth. The legend goes that the water all fell to earth to create the Great Flood. And the Great Flood is man's spiritual flood, the flooding through the four ventricles of the brain. That's where it all comes about. But no, this is all representing the event that finally takes place, which is only on the 5 holy days. Yes, so okay, so he's been waiting all that time and he's finally just released it all. He's had enough of time, had enough of waiting, because it's 5 days has come around, then he releases it. Okay? There's no earthly flood story, okay? There's only one off right at the beginning of time when you think about that creation story. But it's all of the mind anyway. The whole flipping realm is of the mind, conscious state. The Talmud, it mentions the snake horns. And then you've got Genesis 3:14. Okay, that's all about the snake. That's another topic. I've just put those videos up on my Patreon. So I'm trying to get the numbers up on my Patreon so I can reveal all this stuff. Make it worthwhile. There's no point just releasing it to 10, 20, 30 people. I want a lot of people to know about it, because you can all go out and share it and know once and for all what all this means. Not the silly stories you've been told. Wikipedia and Google, it's all just garbage. Okay, thanks for watching. Put the likes up. Get the likes up. Subscribe if you haven't. My channel's just stagnant. It's going nowhere. But the more likes and the more subscribers, I guess it might help move it. I don't know, but it's YouTube are just playing around with my site. That's why I decided to just put most of my information straight onto Patreon now. So yeah, okay, thank you for watching. All the best.